We're the perfect team. Call this a forever thing. Me, I want you tight.
Hello YouTube. Alrighty, for the persons who have not yet subscribed, we're giving you another chance not to miss the bus, so let's give you a second to do that. And I hope that everyone is doing fine right now in this coronavirus pandemic, and I hope everyone is supporting the Black Lives Movement matter as well. Alright, so today's video, as you can see, will be about most about what now that I'm natural, especially for my type 4 hair sisters, because you know I do it. And excuse my twist right now. No, I didn't come with a twist out or wash and go or anything like that today, because we are protective styling. And what kind of person would I be to be giving tips on protective styling and not be doing it myself? I usually do, but for the purpose of my videos, I usually take them down and have it all lovely for you on the screen. But today, I'm in twist. Isn't that cute? Alright, so I will be giving 5 reasons which go go perfectly together as to why your natural hair journey might be a bit frustrating. At least I know these are some tips and reasons that I really wish I knew at the beginning of my natural hair journey. I would have been so much further off right now if I knew them. And of course, I wrote down because, I do it for you. And I don't do it for nobody, but I do. Let me stop being extra. Alright, so number 1, reasons why you're frustrated with your natural hair. My main reason back in the day was my routine, or rather my lack of a routine, if that makes sense. Basically, this is what I used to do. Wake up in the morning, prepare to go to work. I would have slept on my hair so it would have been matted. I probably spray a little bit of water on it, put a little bit of conditioner or gel on it or so on, and just put it in a high puff and go to work, because a high puff was just so easy at the time, or it seemed to be the easiest thing at the time for me to do in terms of managing or dealing with my natural hair on a daily basis. So that was the main reason why I was frustrated, the constantly having to deal with it every day, and not knowing that constantly having to deal with it every day is actually hampering my growth. It's keeping me back from retaining length and so on. Now moving on to, so that's basically number 1, your routine. I think we discussed routines in some previous videos, so you could go and check that out. I will have all the links to my videos because they're kind of all follow-up videos, so I'll have the links to them in the description. If you like, you should, but if you like, you can go and check them out. But the next tip would be the reasons why you're not retaining length, which also follows up perfectly with tip number 1. It's because of these split ends and these single strand knots and these ridiculous hairstyles that we try to put every day. Split ends basically come from the way you manage your hair, the tools that you use in your hair. For example, when I used to have this regular routine where I would put a 1 puff every day, I would be constantly using a brush to brush my hair, and it damaged especially the front part of my hair. That's why even today I find that the back of my hair, it's more curly than the front. I mean, like the front, it's better now than it was back then, but the back of my hair is way more healthier than the front right now. So these everyday styles that we do, manipulating our hair, with brushes and so on, it causes split ends, it causes single strand knots, especially the hairstyles that we do cause split ends and single strand knots. And let me just try to make this clear. All right, our hair, it's always growing. That's one thing. Our hair is always growing from our scalp, right? But when we manipulate our hair in certain ways, we we kind of cut off our retention. If you think about it, your hair is always growing from the roots. Your ends of your hair is the oldest part. I think we all know, but if you didn't, then obvious, it's kind of obvious. Your ends of your hair is the oldest part. So if you're not protecting them, if you're not managing it well, then it will continue to break off. You will continue to get split ends, which will ride up the shaft of your hair, and it will break off. These single strand knots, there's only one way to get it out, that's cutting it out. So it's very important that we pay a lot of attention to the ends of our hair. When we're moisturizing, ensure that you're moisturizing the ends of your hair. When you're twisting, ensure that you don't have any split ends or any single strand knots. And again, the only way to get rid of split ends and single strand knots is to cut it off, which kind of flows into our third point of trimming. We need to ensure that we're trimming our hair, because think about it, right? I just said, the only way to get rid of split ends and single strand knots is to cut it off. If we don't cut off split ends, then it will continue riding up and it will eventually break off. And if all our hair, think of it, majority of our hair strands have split ends, and it keeps on riding up, it keeps on breaking off, will eventually be bald. If that makes sense, because it makes a lot of sense to me. I hope that it's making a lot of sense to you. All right. Tip number 4. I think I got a little carried away there. But tip number 4 is the reasons why you should use a clay mask and a deep conditioning mask. I will try to insert some pictures of when I use a clay mask and when I use a deep conditioning mask, and the transformation it's made in my hair's life. All right, so let's start with clay mask. Clay masks basically take off the buildup and layers of product buildup that we have on our hair that shampoos and conditioners cannot get rid of. Sometimes you might be using, and that's what I noticed happened with me sometime recently last year. I didn't start using a clay mask until late last year, early this year, but it was sometime around then, and I realized significant difference in my hair, because apparently I had buildup of product on my hair and my scalp. But what the clay mask does, it penetrates into your hair and it gives you a really clean feeling. I wouldn't advise you to use a clay mask every wash day, because it could strip your hair of the natural oils and so on, but at least every other week or at least once a month if you want to be really safe. But you need to use a clay mask. It will help detoxify your hair. It will bring back your curls. I hope when I insert the picture wherever I do that, you can see how much curlier my hair got. I will try to insert a before and after picture before I use clay mask and when I did, if I can find a before picture, so that you can see the difference that a clay mask would make in your hair. It will, I guarantee you, it will bring back your curls to life. However, with clay mask, you need to be careful. Some people's hair cannot take really strong clay mask. For example, mine. I wouldn't use a really strong clay mask on my hair. What I can recommend is the Cream of Nature clay mask. I will insert a picture of it. So yeah, the Cream of Nature, they have a really good clay mask, and that's the one I use. It doesn't strip my hair too much, and it does what it's supposed to do. And now onto deep conditioning, which was a game changer as well. Deep conditioning really helped my hair in terms of keeping moisture in my hair, or helping me to detangle my hair better. And I will get into detangling your hair in the next tip. But a deep treatment mask, I think we discussed this in the last video, it really helped, because When you basically, the purpose of a deep treatment mask is to help, basically it's to help soften your hair and make your hair more manageable, and to allow you to see, or to retain, sorry, moisture in your hair. So when you use a deep conditioning mask and you wash it out and then you follow up with another product, it really helps that product that you follow up with to do a better job, if that makes sense. It makes, trust me, it makes a lot of sense in practice more than it probably does in theory. But that's the purpose for a deep conditioning mask. So usually I would use the clay mask first. I would shampoo, condition, and then use the deep treatment mask. Alright, now these are just some ways I listed down how you can have a better wash day routine, and I will also try to insert some pictures. However, I will be bringing a wash day routine video, and I know I've said I will be bringing a slick band video, and I will be bringing a wash and go routine, and I will, but right now we're protective styling because we're trying to gain these inches, and I think the theory is better than the practice right now, because if I bring these routines to you and your hair comes out like trash, you're not going to blame me. You're going to need to do all these steps first to ensure that your hair is healthy, because if your hair isn't healthy, then the styles just wouldn't work. Alright, so some quick tips on how you can have a better wash day routine, which would lead into a better weekly routine for your hair as well, is to wash your hair in sections. Especially if you're a 4 type person and you have really thick hair, it's best to wash your hair in sections, whether it's 4 sections or 6 sections. I usually put some really fat twist in my hair and literally wet one twist, shampoo it, and do the same thing for all the others. Likewise, the conditioner and the deep treatment mask. And I would detangle my hair whilst I have the deep treatment mask, in it, because the deep treatment mask is basically to help you with moisture, so that whilst you have it in your hair would be really soft and easy to detangle. And I always advise people to detangle their hair whilst it's wet, but not only whilst it's wet, but also it would be better to detangle your hair, finger detangle, or with a wide tooth comb. I finger detangle. When it's really matted, then I would use a white tooth comb, but it's better to finger detangle whilst you have your deep treatment mask in your hair. Alright, and I'll try not to keep you too long. But another thing, if you sometimes your hair might be at that length or that stage where twists might not be able to work for you. So what you can use instead to section off your hair whilst you're washing would be clips. Yeah, I can't insert a picture of some of the clips that I use, but you know, these big clips where you could just clip up your hair, pin up your hair easily. Yeah, these clips really help with your wash day routine. And my final tip for your wash day is to take your time. If you're in a mood where you don't feel like washing your hair, then you probably shouldn't, because chances are that you would be really rough with it. And although you're deep conditioning, clay masking, and all these things, if you're rough with your hair and if you're just raking through it with a comb, you're kind of breaking your hair and you're causing split ends that we talked about. That the only way you can get rid of split ends is to cut it off. And if you always have to keep on cutting off your split ends, then you wouldn't be retaining any length, right? So you see, all these steps, they kind of work together. So that's one of my, for me personally, sometimes I have to go to work, or I'm lazy and I just don't really want to deal with my hair. I would do my wash day routine in parts. I may put the clay mask in it in the morning, wash it out an hour after, because you know the clay mask, you can't really keep it in your hair too long. But when it comes to my deep treatment mask, particularly, I might leave it in my hair for an entire day, which I don't advise you to. But if you're feeling lazy and you feel that's the best thing for you to do, then you should, because it makes no sense to attempt your hair if you're frustrated, or if you're feeling lazy, or if you're not up to it, because you will probably damage your hair with the frustration of having to comb it. All right. My last tip, I'm leaving, I'm going to be out of here. But my last tip is to limit the type of hairstyles that you do, especially now that we're protective styling. Yeah, limit the type of hairstyles that you do. For me, I love twist outs, and twist outs aren't bad. If you keep, however, if you keep a twist out in your hair out too long and your hair gets dry too fast, your hair gets dry, it can cause breakage because it's out in whatever weather condition you might be in, and that's not the best thing for your hair. So twist is always the safest way to go. Another thing is wash and goes. Our type 4 hair, wash and goes don't really go very well with them. We get a lot of single strand knots from wash and goes because of how coily our hair is. So I do wash and goes every now and then, probably every other month. When I feel like it, I would do a wash and go, but it's not something that I would practice or encourage for hair type people especially to do. I know there are ways that you can do wash and goes without getting single strand knots, but they've never really worked for me, and until I find a way that does, then I wouldn't advise anyone to do wash and goes. At least none of us would be doing it. Well, if you like, you can, but it's your funeral. But until we find a way that we can do wash and goes and it doesn't affect us negatively more than it does positively, then I'm just canceling wash and goes, or not canceling, but rather limiting wash and goes. Yeah, so that's basically the last tip. Be careful with the styles that you do, especially with 4 type hair, because our hair is thicker and it's more difficult to manage. So yeah, you need to be careful with those types of hair, with those types of hairstyles. Alright, so these are the ways to manage your natural hair. If you'd like to see ways to grow your natural hair, I have a video on that, and I will link it in the description so that you can check out after you're done with this one. And come to think of it, this video should have come before ways to grow your natural hair, because you need to be able to manage your hair. However, you're here, we're watching this, so you can go and check out that video. And if you came to the end of this video and you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a dislike. And leave a comment, hard comment, so that I know you're on this journey and we're on this journey together. And thank you so much to everyone who supports me and share this video. I really do appreciate it.
With the perfect team, call this a forever